Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dockery Docket podcast, the podcast where we are happy that there is peace in the Middle East, but not very happy about the violence that's going on in Portland. So after 2 years of a terrible war that was taking place with thousands of people dying, finally we have peace between Israel and Palestine. Finally, the war's over, and it is interesting because this happened right around the time of the October 7th anniversary, which is what started this whole situation to begin with. And as Donald Trump walked up the steps of Air Force One to go to Israel to finally announce that this war was over, he made sure to say to the media that the war was officially over. Then, landing in Israel, Donald Trump gave a passionate speech about how this deal right here should bring peace to the whole region, and praying and hoping that this peace can last for generations to come.
And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
This was and is a huge deal for Donald Trump and the Republicans. No one thought that Donald Trump could get this situation figured out because these two countries have been going at it for years. They don't like each other very much and they don't agree on a lot of things. So getting these people to sit down at a table and actually discuss different situations and different agreements is something that hasn't happened in a very long time. And this was not an easy feat, as Donald Trump has continued to complain about this situation for a very long time. One time he got so frustrated that he dropped an F-bomb about this situation. And he has been working tirelessly since he was elected as president again to get this war done with. And now he's finally done it. As finally, for right now, praying that it will continue to go, but we finally have peace in the Middle East. And now we are watching videos of people being released from Hamas captivity. We are watching the people of Palestine cheering and thanking Donald Trump for his actions and ending this war. It makes you wonder, what on earth is the left going to think about this back at home? Because they have been wanting a ceasefire from the very beginning. They've wanted this war to end, and that makes sense. I think a lot of people do. But the question is, will they accept this peace deal from Donald Trump? Because everything that Donald Trump is bad, but this is actually a good thing, so it's kind of conflicting. And will the Democrats at least give Donald Trump some credit for getting this deal done? Well, some Democrats like Mark Kelly and John Fetterman have thanked Donald Trump for getting this deal done. Others, like Barack Obama, wrote a whole big message talking about how he's so excited that there's peace between these two countries, but he fails to thank Donald Trump for getting this deal done. Others, I believe, were scared that this was going to be a good thing for Donald Trump, and it would make him look good in the media, and different polls for him would rise, which makes sense because this is a good thing that happened. The problem is that some people on the left can't see something like this and say, wow, Donald Trump actually did a good job with this. Donald Trump actually did a good thing. And I know I'm not talking about every single Republican, and get me, it is very hard to do that because you want to constantly attack the other side. You want to say everything that Joe Biden did was wrong, everything that Donald Trump did was wrong, but sometimes you have to look at different situations and say, hey, this situation right here was good for America, and it was good for the world that we got this done. Because while Donald Trump is over in the Middle East trying to make peace and trying to make a more stable world, there are people back at home who are still calling Republicans evil, fascist, racists. And once again, it seems like there is violence escalating against Trump and Republicans. That's right, the left hasn't stopped their violent attack on Republicans. And this story comes from October 7th, which was days after a church in my hometown was burned down to the ground. That guy had explosives, and this guy that we're going to talk about also had explosives as well. as there was a man with 200 explosives who planned on blowing up another church that was going to hold a mass, and the Supreme Court justices were invited. Apparently, the Supreme Court justices have been invited every single year to this mass. This guy figured that out, and he was going to blow up the church with these different Supreme Court justices inside of it. And because of this, the Supreme Court justices had to skip out on this certain event. This also came several days after a would-be assassin of Brett Kavanaugh was only sentenced to 7 years in prison. I think he deserves a way bigger sentence for that, especially if he was trying to kill a Supreme Court justice. I wonder, too, if this attack took place, if the Brett Kavanaugh assassination actually took place, how many people would actually celebrate it? Because just like with Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump, when one was almost assassinated and the other one was assassinated, they believe that our Supreme Court justices are part of some grand fascist conspiracy. They believe that they are evil, so if they're evil, terrible, fascist people, then they deserve to die, right? And this leads us to our next story about a terrible human being who's running for Attorney General who got his text messages leaked, as he wrote violent and derogatory text messages to a Republican colleague. If those guys die before me, I will go to their funeral to pee on their graves. He continued by saying, 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, which is the Republican speaker, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets in the head. And then this guy, this scumbag, doubled down, as he wrote, spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every single time. I mean, what an absolute sick human being. Calling for the death of someone that you disagree with politically is terrible, and that is wrong, but I warn you, it gets a whole lot worse. As the Republican colleague that he was talking to wrote, you are talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children die. His response? Yes, I've told you this before, only when people feel pained personally do they move on policy. Then once again he doubles down claiming, I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and they're breeding little fascists? Yes. Now, in a normal situation, this would mean that this guy would drop out of the race to be the Attorney General of Virginia. But no, because we live in stupid times. As the Democrats in Virginia and also around the country were saying, well, the text messages were bad. They were really, really bad, but, you know, he apologized. You know, like, he didn't really mean it that much. And they are telling him to continue to stay in the race. Which is absolutely sick because this right here is political violence. Like, can you imagine being the mother of those children when you read the text message that they want your children dead? Or talking about your husband and they want him dead? Or how the person that leaked these different text messages is being harassed by people in the Virginia House because she was the one who released them and is hurting this guy. And I mean, let me be clear, calling for the death of another person's children because you don't agree with them on policy is something that shouldn't even be in our political space right now. Because it is sick, disgusting, and evil behavior. But because these people think that the other side are literally evil, racist Nazis, you have to vote for this guy because he's a Republican. Who cares what he wrote? Who cares what he said? You gotta vote for him because the other side is terrible and evil. You know, when there were so many different articles saying, well, Republicans are just pouncing on this and Republicans are just saying random things about this whole situation. Well, yes, we're going to talk about it. There was a debate for the Virginia governor's race, and the Republican kept bringing this up because it is important. And guess what the Democrat did? She kept deflecting, she kept moving away from it. You know, oh, I disagree with the text messages, but he should still run. Why can't these people just denounce when their people are bad, when they say wrong things, and they say things that are harmful to people? And luckily right now it looks like Jay Jones, who wrote these different text messages, poll numbers are going down, which is an absolutely good thing because he shouldn't even be in the race to begin with. He's a scumbag and a terrible person. Along with that, jumping over to Utah, someone released a picture of all of the Republican representatives in the Utah Senate and also the Utah House with blood coming out of their necks. Which, once again, is a call to violence that the left just can't stop doing. And once again, the left is defending. Now, the one thing I will say that I really like about the Democratic Party is that they always seem to stick together. Oh, you wrote about some kids dying? Who cares? Oh, you wrote text messages? Who cares? You sexually assaulted a woman in the White House? Who cares? We are going to support you 100% and we are going to defend you 100%. And it almost seems like over the weekend, Democrats get a letter in the mail that says, these are the talking points, go on the news networks and talk about these specific things. And this is what is happening right now when it comes to Antifa.
There's no Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa.
Like, I don't even know what Antifa is. There is no group.
It's not even like far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa-linked violence is rare and limited.
It isn't an organization. It is in many ways mythology.
It's not like the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, sort of defined terrorist organizations with leadership that leads violence.
It's not a highly organized movement. It's a moniker. It's not a unified group like the Proud Boys are. Things like Antifa are things that are thought up.
It's all in this guise of going after Antifa, which is nothing. There's no organization called Antifa.
Nobody's a member of Antifa because it doesn't exist. They are just declaring into existence something that doesn't exist.
There is no Antifa organization, so maybe that's good for social media. But it really is non-existent.
They exist on the internet in chat rooms and in 4chan and Discord and places like that where they run discussion boards, trade tactics, documents, things like that. But none of them are called Antifa.
These people know exactly who Antifa is, a violent group that is causing chaos in our cities. And I think that the best response, though, comes from Keith Ellison, claiming that he doesn't know who in the world Antifa is. Who is Antifa? Who are they talking about? What is going on here? But then there's a picture of him with the anti-fascist handbook.
So the fact that there is nobody even knows what it is. The first person I ever heard use the word Antifa was Donald J. Trump when he was going on about how there were good people on both sides at Charlottesville. That's the first time I ever heard anyone use the term. So now it's this amorphous thing, and if nobody's really Antifa, then everybody could be. And the reason you can't find them is because they're just that crafty.
Do these people think that we are stupid? Do these people think that we don't see different things on TV of Antifa smashing windows, smashing buildings, going after police officers, and trying to stop ICE and causing violence? Apparently not, because we know, we the Republicans, we the actual people who are seeing this stuff, know that Antifa is real. As they're not just destroying buildings, they're also stopping hospital helicopters from actually doing their job. What if a patient is dying and they need to get to a hospital, but these stupid, crazy Antifa leftists are playing laser tag? As a hospital helicopter was forced to divert their route because these crazy far leftists were shining laser pointers at the helicopter. Do you know how dangerous that is? That can kill people because it gets in the pilot's eyes and then the pilot can't see or he gets distracted by it and then he could crash the plane or the helicopter. But to them, it's all fun and games as they posted this picture. But don't worry, guys, Antifa's not real, but they have a website, they have pictures, they have logos, they have signs, they have all sorts of stuff, but they're not real. They're not real. But it's just crazy that they have posters telling people to literally try and knock helicopters out of the sky. But once again, it's fine because they just don't exist. So why are we even worried about Antifa? Oh, well, Antifa is just like World War II veterans. World War II veterans would not be okay with you destroying American cities, Becky. They were probably way more conservative than you or all of your friends are. Anyway, while Donald Trump is trying to create peace in the world and also in the Middle East, The left here at home has continued to cause violence and to attack innocent people, which proves that it is easier to negotiate with Hamas than it is to negotiate with Democrats. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye. Antifa